Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Build Some Ships. This is episode 6. So we've got all the smaller class vessels finished for the fleet, for this fleet at least. I'm kind of been kicking around the idea of maybe making second ships. Like after I'm done with this fleet, I'll make some that could be considered equivalents but opposite. Like for instance, if two factions were fighting, they would have equivalent ships to each other at least, if not better ships. So, you know, kind of thinking about I don't know, old Warcraft games or old RTS type games that would you'd have two factions that are very similar but just different looking. So I was thinking it'd be really cool to build a second fleet after this one was done. Maybe not record that one, but you know, do like a final like fly through of each one when it's done, of a fighter, you know, heavy fighter, you know, light corvette, heavy corvette, and then frigates and capital ships and stuff like I'm doing today. But a separate faction, and then just, you know, throw, you know, a certain number of ships into a map, and you know, basically call it like a deathmatch map. It'd be really cool. It'd be like you'd log in, pick one of the factions, change your, you know, faction over to that, and then you'd have those ships at your disposal to fight your friends and stuff on like a battlefield type area in between the two, I guess in between two stations like the one I built. And you'd be limited, you know, these are all just ideas, but my mind's been racing. I started a new job recently and I've just been going nuts with it, like at work, just daydreaming about building ships and stuff. But you'd be limited by the ships you start with. So you'd want to save the map, obviously, and then after you start, like say you have like 10 small fighters, you know, five heavy, you know, heavy fighters and like 3 lights and 2 heavy corvettes, like, and just on and up, and that's the only ships you get. Like once they're all destroyed, whoever has ships left, they're the victor. And I think that would be a cool idea. It would definitely make for some fun videos and stuff, because I think unfortunately I'm watching, and I kind of agree with some of the other YouTube commentators and Let's Players that Space Engineers, it's not even fully released yet, but like it seems like the interest in it is dying off. Like a lot of people have already stopped playing. Like a lot of them are losing subscribers and things like that. That's why, like, I'm not really doing this to earn money or anything like that. This is just for fun and because I am super into the game. And you see I do other videos on my channel anyway, so yeah, so I just wanted to, you know, say that I'm probably going to be building. Today we're going to build a start our frigates, because the next level up from corvettes. I'm getting all my ideas from the Homeworld RTS game. If anyone's ever played that, you'll know that the game is built into different classes of ships. You have fighter, corvettes, frigates, capital ships, and those are all just the designations for rough sizes of ships. So that's kind of what I'm using because it helps me organize the different classes, and I think it's actually like that in the Navy too. I'm not a huge like knowledge base for that, but yeah. So today we're gonna build some frigate. I haven't decided which frigate yet, but I want to do something cool with the frigates, and that's make the engineering and the like the majority of this ship the same, and then the different variants will be slightly different. Like I want to do a missile frigate. I want to do a support frigate so other ships can refuel and rearm off of it. I want to do like a and I had this idea for a sword frigate that's literally nothing but a ramming ship. You know, things like that, and I want to base it. So I'm going to build the basic frigate today, and maybe one of the variants. So I'm going to try and, I know this opening's been kind of long, but I'm going to get into the real video here now. So without further ado, I'll start building, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, so I lost a bunch of footage about building these things, so I'm going to walk you through and maybe give you a little dialogue about what happened. So I wanted to do frigates, obviously, like we said, which is somewhere in between corvette and capital ships being massive and corvettes being a slightly larger small ship. So I wanted to do it in large blocks because I was adamant about getting away from the small ones, because having too many small blocks, um, like having too many of these like modded small blocks, which look awesome, but having too many of them, that causes a bunch of lag in the game currently. So didn't want that. So I started building these things. I remember you had said that we wanted to do bases, and then we will build off of those. You know, as in all the stuff you'd need, like reactors, gyroscopes, engines, or other thrusters, control module, and protection grid, stuff like that, in one block. And we were going to build all of the other variants of the frigate off of that, just to keep it kind of more, I don't know, I mean, like I said in the beginning, I'm basing my idea of a fleet off of the Homeworld game because it's very cohesive. Every vessel kind of looks themed and similar design-wise. That's weird that that block is a different color. There we go, that was going to bug me. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yes, Homeworld ships all have the same theme, and a lot of that just comes from the color scheme, which, by the way, if you look at your screen, I've kind of decided on. I'm not sure about this lime green yet, but that's easy to fix in Space Engineer's toolbox if I have to. So we have two failed attempts over here. These aren't bad designs. I don't hate them for that reason. It's just that at the end they were just way too big. They were too big for what I wanted, and the engines were too much because they had to be so. They were so big, therefore the engines needed to be a lot. Which, by the way, I found some cool modded engines that don't necessarily like break the game, so I've added them there. More the Azimuth engines, I think they're called. They're in the Azimuth large mega mod pack, which is awesome. And another thing about these, like, is cool. I built interiors for them, like this one. I mean, that looks pretty nice. I like this. It's not like, I'll put some light on just to get it. It's not a bad ship design. And they're all oxygenated on the inside here, and like, you have to come up here to get into the cockpit. And all the cockpits I built with these cool shutters that come down and block the windows, give you a little extra protection. But yeah, like, I don't know, I just thought maybe frigates don't need an interior like this in this way. Like, an interior's fine, but maybe not like access to all the construction stuff and like the not construction, but the what am I thinking? What's the word? The inner workings of the ship, like the oxygen generators and all the reactors and stuff. Like, it makes more sense that a frigate would be more protected from that sort of things. Not that capital ships or other ships wouldn't be protected. It's just that I feel like frigates, you should focus more on making this ship function and keep the weight kind of down. Try to keep it down at least. This one I went way overboard. This is, yeah. I like it. It looks cool, but this is way too much for a frigate, in my opinion. Some of you may disagree, and I respect that opinions. You know, it's not my opinion, but I respect yours. By the way, these interior station blocks are awesome. I might add some of these to the space station I built, because you got, you know, health monitor, air vents. So let's go. Sorry, I'm yawning a bunch. It's been a long day. New jobs really suck. But yeah, let's head out of here now, and we'll head over and check out the finished design. Which, like I said, these aren't bad designs. I kept them. I may reuse them at a later date for maybe some capital ship, or this one specifically I really like for like a capital ship, maybe like a gun barge or something, like a destroyer base. And that one over there, I'm thinking more like utility, because it looks more like, you know, I don't know, it just strikes me as a utility type vessel. But anyway. So we come over here, sorry, yawning again, jeez. And this is, I just copied it 4 times, but this is the base that I've decided on for the frigate. Now the front, like this will be added on, there'll be more of it coming out here in the front, a little bit more engines and stuff just to add to the, to make sure the mast can be stopped and moved and stuff, but and also conveyors set up so I can convey engine, like anything it might need, parts, you know, ammo for the weapons, fuel, anything really. Just, you know, you want conveyors everywhere. Also, by the way, this is really sweet. I found a block, it's a conveyor hinge. So it's like the rotor blocks, but as far as I can tell, this thing is solid, way more than the in-game rotors that Keen Software House, the makers of the game, like put into it. It's like they should take a hint from this modder, because these things, I've never had a problem with them. They're always sturdy, like they stop when they're supposed to. I've never had a breaking or exploding problem with them. So anyway, back to the topic. So yeah, you want everything conveyored up so you can move everything through the ship where it needs to be. That's just common sense. It's part of the whole making a ship for survival and stuff. So, but yeah, I love the big ship. The letters mod too is awesome. This thing, it controls really well. It's got 2 gyroscopes. I want all small engines on this one just because I didn't want to put a large reactor in it. So instead it's got 3 small reactors, which we'll see if it continues to be enough as we add the front parts of the ships and stuff. Maybe I might have to, you know, cut out the part in the middle, some of these, and try and larger reactor. Maybe I'll go for a modded reactor in that case. I've been trying to stay away from modded reactors as much as possible, just to keep the mods cost down. And by mods cost, I mean like you don't have to have as many as you should, as some might, in order to load the ship into your world or whatever. So yeah, what else about this? So there's 2 gyroscopes. All of them are running at 60% efficiency right now, which means they don't draw as much power, but they also don't give you as much maneuverability as it possibly could, because if you turn it all the way up right now without a front part on this ship, it kind of goes nuts. Like it's almost like super like what's the word I'm looking for? Sensitive. It's super sensitive. Like a small move of my mouse. Now my mouse isn't the best as it could be. There's lots of other mouses with more. I think DPI is a term where it's more sensitive. I just don't have that on mine. So yeah, like if I move my mouse like this, the ship is just all over the place. So I have them turned down to 60% efficiency right now. It handles a little bit more better. It still handles really good. Like I'm surprised just 2 gyroscopes will give you that much maneuverability, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm just letting you know that when I attach these front parts of the ships, or if you want a base to build your own type of frigate off of this one, you can turn it up more, and you'll definitely, like if you build a really large ship, you'll a decent amount of gyroscope power to back it up if you need it. It also helps cut down on energy costs too if you're running this in pure survival, not creative. So if we go on board here, let me turn my HUD on so you can see. We'll see that we have an exterior airlock. This is mirrored on both sides of the ship, and have a button to depressurize the inner part, which it already is. So we're just going to go in. And I love these modded access. What is it? Maintenance tunnels, I think they're called. These are awesome, man. These can work as conveyors if you need them to. Right now I'm not necessarily using them as conveyors, just because I don't need them. I have all my conveyors already built in. So if you come in here, let's pressurize this. So you hit the button. It's the same sort of thing we had on the small light Corvette and some of the heavy Corvette. So you turn it on, as you can see we got oxygen now, and you can't, I'm clicking on the door here, you can't open it. Below us, before I go up here, below us we have an access panel to get down into one of the reactors. This is like when you're when you're using a ship in survival, for instance, for those of you that don't play this game, and you run out of uranium, which is what the reactors use to power, the reactor will shut down, and all the conveyor systems don't work then. So if you have something on the outside of your ship and all your reactors are internal through conveyors with no other way to get to them, there's no way to put stuff back into your ship to power it up again, so you're kind of out of luck on that. So if I do it like this, instead of having to dig through the whole ship to get to the reactors if I run out of power, all I have to do is, if that door isn't already open, is cut through that door, come in here, and if this door isn't open, you cut through that. Otherwise, you can just then put more brain fart there. Put more uranium into the reactor, the one reactor here, and all the systems will come back online. The conveyors will start working again, and you'll be good to go. So it just makes it easier to emergency refuel, if that makes sense. And you know what I just realized? I did not put a connector on the outside of this ship. Wow, how am I going to rectify that? I guess I could go down. Okay, I don't know. I'll either go down with it at the bottom of the ship, or when I build out more of the fronts for the different ones, I'll add conveyors in different spots depending on it. So what we have down here is we have our co-pilot / gunner seat. Not all of these, all of these vessels will have the defense turrets I put on the wings, which, by the way, do you see those wings? It's pretty sexy, right? Like tilted down like that. It's pretty cool. It makes it look a little different from the other ships, but not too different because the color scheme still unites them. But all the frigates have the wings down like that, so I like it. Maybe on some of the other bases I'll change the wings slightly, but I really like the way it looks as a base. So anyway, so this is your co-pilot / gunner seat. Not all your ships will have guns other than the defense turrets, so it's also co-pilot like duties. So like all the secondary systems of the ship that the pilot can't really handle while he's trying to fly and maneuver the ship through combat situations and such. So all these ships will be two-person manned craft. And then I had a heck of a time because there's no way to put a floor here because I wanted 2 people and I couldn't fit the air vent, 2 cockpits, then the below access and everything fitting it in here. This is one of the constant things I struggle with in Space Engineers, and I don't know if anyone else does too. Go ahead, feel free to comment below if you do. We'll have some solidarity there, but yeah, it's a pain in the butt to try and finagle what you want in a ship sometimes. And it's part of the I guess the talent of building the ships in Space Engineers comes from that. And I'm getting better at it every day, but I'm still not as good as I want to be. Anyway, so if we come up here, you have to turn your jetpack on to get up there because there's no ladders or anything in the game yet. If you come up here, oh, apparently I need to increase the gravity range. Anyway, you come up here, and here is your main pilot seat. And yeah, oh man, I love the way that looks actually. Also, both antennas are set up to broadcast. It's just I turn one of them off for the time being, A, to conserve power, and B, it kind of pollutes the screen with way too many antennas, like as you can see over there. It's a lot of them. But yeah, so I like the way it looks. These modded thrusters give a little bit more thrust than a regular single thruster from Space Engineers. So like, I guess the equivalent would be 1.5 small thrusters, ion thrusters worth of power. So they're not too cheaty. They definitely take more power to run, so I don't feel like they're cheaty at all, which is why I'm cool with adding them to the ships. So let's see, I'll show you a little bit how she picks up in speed and stuff, and I'll bring her back around and then show you one last function before I end the video to continue building. So pretty decent pickup. You see, I'm already hitting 20. This is pretty fast. It's faster than some of the smaller ships, but a lot of that comes from the fact that this is just the base of the ship. You know, like there's a lot more weight going to be added once this thing has its the front parts of it, you know, done. So let's come back around here. We can see, you know, up and down. Not too much. You know, this thing is more supposed to be about quick forward, you know, forward speed. Not like none of my ships in this series really are meant to really maneuver sideways, except for maybe the fighter, which can do it equally as good no matter where it goes, I believe. But yeah, so let's head back here now. Let's go down and around so we don't actually hit anything. But yeah, no, I'm happy with it, and like you can see, 60% for the gyroscopes is pretty good. Like you're still, I'm barely moving my mouse here, and you're getting a lot of really good. Also, look at this, like a normal rotor would be going nuts right now, like doing this, all these things, nothing. Better not to almost lost control there. But as you see, look, it recovered really well. It slowed to a stop. I didn't have to fight it too much. So yeah, maneuverability is pretty good so far. We'll see. That'll probably change as more systems are added and the front part of the ship is added. But for now, I'm really happy with how the base turned out. And I'll probably build one of the variants in this video, continue that. Or I'll just end this video here, actually. You know what? I'm going to end it here. And then we'll do separate videos for the other, you know, front parts. Maybe I'll do 2 at a time for the other videos. But for now, thank you for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I think this is the most fun I've had so far, with at least designing the inner workings of a ship. Like, oh, here, I almost forgot something. So this is really cool. So the shutters that the mod I found. Watch this. I can have blast shields in this game. Isn't that so cool? Like, I wish they would add this to the actual game. Like, that is sweet. Here, I'll jump out of the cockpit here. That's just really cool to me. Like, the window's completely blocked off, you're sealed in, protected a little bit more. Like, the glass doesn't give you much protection, and I'm sure these shutters don't either, but visually you feel better. You feel like you're more protected. You might not be, but you feel like it is. So we can raise those down here as well. Once again, these station blocks being awesome because there's one with buttons on it. That's really cool. So yeah, raise those blast shields, and then I'll depressurize this one, which these doors can't. There we go. I forced that one. I should have waited. But yeah, so depressurize this normally. No loss of oxygen that way. So yeah, that's it for this episode of Let's Build Some Ships. We got the base done of the frigate. I scrambled a lot more. I've spent 3 parts of a day. Like, I recorded some last night, and then woke up and recorded some more, and then went to work, and then just came home tonight and recorded some more here right now. And I lost maybe a half hour's worth of footage. I mean, realistically, that probably would have only come out to maybe 5-10 minutes of in-game footage, depending on how much I talked at the build stages. But I feel like you guys really didn't miss too much. I gave you a pretty thorough tour of the ship so far. So if I'm doing good with that, please also let me know below if you guys have any suggestions for how to make the videos more interesting. I'm trying to do more commentary, as you probably noticed, and cut down on the showing block by block how I build the ships, and turning it more into like a highlight reel, which I feel like people are enjoying more so far. So anyway, I'll stop talking now, and I'll just say feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. I'll have the Twitter address in the description below. And yeah, have a good night, everyone.